Shalom, shalom, everyone. This is Yehudah Yisrael with another edition of the School of Knowledge on the Sabbath Day. We are continuing our teaching about America in the Bible the right way so that we understand exactly what's going on. And we just had an open conversation before our lesson started, about Genesis 15, 13, and 14, and that America is in Genesis 15, 13, and 14 right now, and the judgment of the nation. We were talking about economically how, the nation right now is going through turmoil because of the tariffs and the import-export issues and, goods and services and all of that, and which brings us back to everybody thinks that America is going to be destroyed. It will not be destroyed. The scriptures does not say that about this prophecy. America will continue to be. It is just going to be put under judgment. And what we believe that we're witnessing right now is that judgment, because the best way to judge a nation is through its economics. And, we don't have an issue with Donald Trump because we believe that Donald Trump has been called by the Most High to do what he's doing. Because in his mind, this is the way to bring America back to its greatness. But that is the sentiment of every leader, especially in Daniel chapter 2, that believed the same thing. Nebuchadnezzar believed the same thing when the Most High specifically told him how the order of nations was going to be. After all that he had told him, he still did not want to come to terms with that there was going to be an end to the nation of Babylon, that there was going to be an end to the rule and the greatness of Babylon. They didn't want to believe it. And for whatever reasoning and whatever's going on, we have to always understand that what we're seeing right now today is the Most High ruling in the kingdom of men. So we don't get upset. We're not angry at Donald Trump, President Trump, and anything. He's doing what the Most High has required of him to do, in our opinion. Every tariff that he signs, every bill that he signs, everything that he signs is related to what the Most High wants to happen, because he told it to us in his word. And the one thing that we've always said and that we will always stand by is that the Most High rules in the kingdom of men and that his word will not return unto him void. Won't do it. Won't do it. It just won't. And so when people get angry, we're tired of you Hebrew Israelites talking about you. We got it. This is his word. I know that, everybody has been given a different version of the story, and everybody's been given a different version of the end times, and everybody's been given a different version. But when the Israelites give the version of the God whom they serve, nobody wants to listen. But what we're doing is we're watching this thing unfold in real time. We're watching. We're watching. So this brings me to the next topic, and it's gone into a very long lesson, but it's necessary because, the more you repeat something, the more people will remember. And for some of us, this is a refresher course, but we wanted to bring this up, this particular statement here, until the time of the Gentile be fulfilled. This is so very important. Very important. We're going to go to Luke chapter 21 because this is the Messiah talking. He says, for these, and we're going to verse 21, Luke 21:22. Luke 21:22. It says, for these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. That's very key. He said that all things which are written may be fulfilled. Watch. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. Watch what it says. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. Now this is what he's talking. He's actually talking about the transatlantic slave trade right here. He said, and they shall fall by the edge. Now, he's in Jerusalem right now, under the Roman occupation, that Israel is still allowed to function as a nation within a nation, being controlled by the Romans. And he is making a statement of a future prophecy. Let me go back, because this is very, very important. He says, but woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. He's talking about Israel. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. He said, they're going to push you out of here. You're not going to be in Jerusalem. You're not even going to be considered a nation anymore. They're going to take you wherever you are and scatter you into every nation. And then he makes a very profound statement. He said, Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentile until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Woo! Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. I mean, this is powerful. I could just feast off of this for a whole year. I mean, I really could. I could just take this one scripture, and we could break this down into what happened to Israel, how 70 A.D. came about, how they ran into Africa, and some of them were running into all different coasts. They were everywhere, and we're talking about Judah. This is Judah. This is the southern part of Israel, and that was Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. This is Judah he's talking about. And how we were confiscated at a certain time in Africa, and they swooped us up and put us on ships, and they started distributing us all over the world. This is what he's telling them. They don't even understand. This was spoken thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago. And he said, Jerusalem shall be trodden down to the Gentile until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Woo! Anybody have any questions about that? I mean, because we're living in that right now. What we just read, we are actually living in, because we're still sitting in captivity. And you know what struck me as so profound is when we had the last Blog Talk Radio show, a gentleman called from Africa, and we had a conversation. It's on the radio. It's on our videos and stuff. And he said, he asked me, he said, how do you feel about those people that are in Jerusalem now professing to be Jews? I said, I have my own feelings. I said, but this is what the Most High wants. He allows that. He said, I know what you're saying, and that's very interesting, but how do you feel? It doesn't matter how I feel. This is what he has allowed to happen. So, I know why it happened, and my ancestors are the reason why it happened, but he's allowing that to happen for his own reasoning. Our job is to gather ourselves together so that when the time comes, which is in his word, that he's going to gather us and take us back to our own land, that we're prepared for that mentally, physically, and emotionally. And this is very, very important, y'all. And I hope you just bear with me with this lesson, because this is very, very important, about what is happening right now at this moment. So we're going to bring it back to, anybody have any questions or comments? Anybody? All right, this is Nebuchadnezzar's dream. Very important. Daniel chapter 2. I didn't go through the whole chapter because it would have been too long, but Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, and he was troubled about the dream that he had, and he was trying to find someone to interpret the dream, and he told him, if you guys don't interpret it, I'm killing everybody. I'm killing the wise men, the soothsayers, and Daniel was included in that group of people. So they ran to get Daniel and tell him, look, the king has made a decree that if we don't interpret this dream, this is what's going to happen. And Daniel went before the king and said, well, can you just give me some time? He said, no, the decree has been fixed. You have until such and such a time to make sure this thing is not only tell me the dream, but the interpretation thereof. So Daniel, being from the tribe of Yehudah, went before the Most High and said, you know the situation that we're in. I need your help. I need you to let me know what it is. And the Most High gave it to him. So we're picking up at Daniel chapter 2, verse 36. He's interpreting it. He said, this is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Watch what he said. He said, thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the Elohim of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. See, this is what people don't understand. That's why I said you are never to get upset about the choices that the Most High makes to rule the nations of the world, because he rules in the kingdom of men, and it is his responsibility and his power to give it to whom he will. I know some people was upset to commit suicide because President Trump was back in office again. No, these are the people that the Most High wants to be in charge of these nations, because they are going to do whatever he wants them to do. So Daniel said, he made you king of kings. The Elohim of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. What? And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beast of the field and the fowl of the heaven, hath he given it into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. So he put you in position. I know you thought it was a series of things that happened and that your father died and, you was a military leader and you was out there fighting for the benefit of Babylon, and all of a sudden your father died and you had to come and be the king of Babylon. All of this was conditioned and ordered by the Most High that this was going to happen this way. There's no new thing under the sun. Predestined. That's why I tell my children all the time, especially my one daughter, I tell her all the time, nothing happens by chance. Everything has a reason. Even though you don't understand it, everything has a reason. And you have to be able to understand that the Most High is in control of it all. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has a part to play, and it happens for a reason. He said, he has given into thy hand and has made thee ruler over them all. Thou art, this is the first world government, world ruling government. Watch. And after thee shall arise another kingdom, inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. These are world ruling kingdoms. And then he says the fourth kingdom. And the fourth kingdom, watch what he said, shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. Watch. Let's pull up. We're going to say, well, I wanted to say this. Who is the fourth kingdom? Let's go to Daniel chapter 7. We're going to go to Daniel 7 and 7. Watch what he says. He said, and after this I saw in a night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, same thing Daniel chapter 2 said, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that was before it, and it had 10 horns. Well, wait a minute. So we go back. Let's go back. We're going to go back to Daniel chapter 2, verse 40. He said, and the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, it break in pieces and bruise. So this fourth kingdom is also talked about in Daniel chapter 7 as a fourth beast. Well, wait a minute. But Christ said, until the time of the Gentile be fulfilled. So what does that have to do with this? We got to still be talking about the Gentiles. It says, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. And I considered the horns, and beheld, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there was 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. Man, this little horn is going to be something else. He said, and whereas thou saw the feet and the toes of the potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. But there shall be in it of a strength of iron, for as much as thou hast saw the iron mixed with clay. He said, wait a minute. He said, the fourth beast, wait, listen here. And now let me go. I'm moving too fast. I got to slow down. So this fourth beast is going to mix itself. It's going to be iron and clay. And the feet and the toes of the statue is mixed with iron and clay. And this is going to be partly strong and partly weak, because it's going to be divided. Will be divided. Watch this. It says, the fourth beast, which represents Rome, had 10 horns. This beast corresponds with the iron in the vision of Nebuchadnezzar's image. The 10 horns represent the breakup of the Western Empire, the origin of the Roman Empire into nations of Europe, over which Rome continues to hold sway. Well, wait a minute. What's going on with that? Why is that important? Because guess what you got? Guess what we're watching right now? The Roman Empire is getting ready to come on the scene. It's been quiet for a long time. We're getting ready to get a whole new pope, which I told y'all about a long time ago. We're going to get a whole new pope with a whole new set of ideas to get ready. Guess what? It's not by chance that all of this is happening at the same time that the nation that we're in is being judged, and Israel is about to go back to the Middle East. Same thing. At the same time. Watch. He said that as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. And you know what that means? That means that right now, guess what? If we're dealing with good and evil at the same place. All I've been hearing all week long is that Rome is in turmoil. The Holy Roman Empire is in turmoil because guess what? They got the good cardinals and they got the bad cardinals, and they've been at war with each other, and they've been fighting each other because they're trying to make sure that good prevails over evil. And this is Daniel's prophecy right now being fulfilled. We're watching it. Watch. There it is. There's your feet. There's your toes. 10 toes. 10 toes, 2 feet. Mixed with iron and clay. And whereas thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. We are truly witnessing history being made right now. We've always been in the 10 toes. We've always been at the bottom of the statue of Daniel. Rome split. Rome had 2 divisions. They split. One part of it created Europe, and the other part created the Holy Roman Church. They split, but Rome has been in charge for a very, very, very long time. And we are watching history being made. This is right up there with the 400-year law that was passed, because the players are repositioning themselves to get ready for the change that's going to happen when we make our transition out of this country. Nothing happens by chance. Nothing. Everything happens for a reason. And they said they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men. We can get into that's a whole nother teaching where we can get into the hybrids and the GMO foods and the genetically modified food. We can get into all that, but right now we have to focus on Rome. This is what it's all about. Everybody is repositioning themselves. Why? Because they know that who Yah is. They know who the Most High is. They know what His Word says. And they know that this has to come to pass. That's why you cannot worry about what Donald Trump is doing. What President Donald Trump is doing. Because he is doing what needs to be done according to Yah's will. It says, and in the days of these kings shall the Elohim of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And watch, he said, and the kingdom shall not be left to another people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. We had to bring this in because this is a Gentile. Until the time of the Gentile be fulfilled, we are talking about the European nations, and we are talking about Rome. We are watching a conclave that will happen in a few days, and this is serious. Anybody have any questions? Comments, concerns, anything? Some serious times we're in right now, I'm telling you. And that little horn that's spoken of in Daniel chapter 7, they believe is the Holy Roman Empire. And it's going to be a powerful thing. It is going to be a powerful thing. It plays a major part in all things. It plays a major part. I can't say that too many times. Crucial stuff.
You say the little horn is the Holy Roman Empire?
Yes, sir. It's the church. It's that church.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, it evolved. It evolved from the two legs, and the one leg went into creating the European Union, and the other one created the Holy Roman Empire. And this is what we're dealing with right now. And they've been real quiet. When you got real power, the Most High taught me that a long time ago. When you really got real real power is silent. Don't have to say nothing. The ones who do all the talking is the ones that really don't have it. You know those saying the loudest person in the room is the weakest person in the room. Rome is getting ready to speak in ways that you can't even begin to imagine. And it just happened to happen around the same time that America is being judged. It just happened to happen around the same time that the children who experienced the 400-year prophecy in this land is getting ready to be moved back to the Middle East. Nothing just happened. It don't just happen. That it just happened to be around the same time that the same president that signed the 400-year in the law is president again. No, it don't just happen. Everything is happening to fulfill what the Most High wrote in His Word. It just don't happen. It just don't happen by chance. It just doesn't. We don't live in a by chance world, in a by chance society. Nothing happens by chance. Everything is laid out. He wrote the end from the beginning. Anybody have any questions?
Everything is in order.
Everything is in order. Like clockwork. Just like clockwork. He said, for as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hand, and it break in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold. The great Elohim has made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter. The dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. He said you can take it to the bank. Can we not open up our history book and open up Daniel chapter 2 and read exactly the way the statue was described in exact words, how the powers took over each other in order? Yes, we can. You can lay that Bible open and that encyclopedia open, and then you can walk it down nation by nation by nation by nation. Most I don't make mistakes. That's why I couldn't believe some of the Israelite groups that would say, "Oh, well, Genesis 15:13 was Egypt." How? He doesn't mathematically make mistakes. If he said 400 years, that you was going to be tormented for 400 years, you was going to go through hell for 400 years. Not 200 and some odd years. That he said you would be afflicted for 400 years. I said, he don't get it wrong.
That must be that new math that they were using.
Something is going on. Something is going on. It's like, you know what, if he was to get that wrong, it would forfeit everything. Everything would be over with. There would be no need to follow anything else. It wouldn't. Yeah, and it looks similar, it does. But guess what? We did have an exodus coming out of Egypt. Yes, we did. And we were given great wealth when we came out of Egypt. Yes, we were. We went through all of those things. We certainly did. But there's a component that's missing. We were not afflicted for 400 years because of Joseph. We were not. Powerful stuff. He doesn't make mistakes. That's why we're watching Rome so closely. Like I told you before, it's the changing of the guards. It is. Gotta get ready. He said, Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. Then the king answered unto Daniel and said, Of a truth it is. Now watch the declaration that he makes. He said, Of a truth it is, that your Elohim is a Elohim of the gods, and a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou could have revealed this secret. He said, man, he is the truth. As my kids would say, he is the truth. For real, he's not a joke. He is not going to allow his word to come back void. It doesn't matter how many white evangelicals or whatever they call themselves try to make this thing be a certain way. It doesn't matter. The Most High's word is not going to return unto him void. When we agree with a lot of things that have been said and done about the correcting of certain things and marriages and genders and abortion and all that stuff, that goes against God's word. Absolutely. But when it comes to Israel, the Most High knows his people, and he is going to deliver his people to the land that he promised. It's going to come to pass. Don't come to pass. Then the king made Daniel a great man and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. He gave him promotion. He said, then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego over the affairs of the province of Babylon, but Daniel sat in the gate of the king. Anybody have any questions? There's some powerful stuff happening right now. And when you know what's going on, you just sit back and you watch and you be like, wow, okay, we can check that box off. That's wow. Okay, and now we is ready to go, so we're going to sit Israel over the side. And Israel's real quiet now because Israel has done its job in letting the people know that it's time to get ready to go. And now we get ready to watch the powers that be reposition themselves so that the journey that needs to be made can be made. Because guess what? It was Rome that was the one who gave the okay for the transatlantic slave trade. It was. And guess what? It's going to be Rome to say it's time for them to go. Let them go. Woo! Hallelujah. Because Rome running this thing. Yes, they are. Rome was in charge when he left. Rome is going to be in charge when he come back. And I'm talking about Christ. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Yeah, Rome was the one who had put us into slavery. I think it was Pope Nicholas V, I believe.
Yeah, Rome was in Rome. Guess what? Rome been around for thousands of years. It has never gone away. Never.
Mm-mm. When the emperors, when the Roman Empire died, that's when the church came up behind them, and they took over Rome. And they may not be a military might, but the thing is, they use the nations, but especially the United States, as their military might, and they use England as their money might. Even though they have, as far as Rome itself, got gazillions of dollars, or billions of dollars rather, and these people will use this government to do whatever militarily.
Very interesting times that we live in. I'm telling you right now. Rome in the last days. Here we go. Look, there go the 10 toes, there go the 10 horns, and there go the 10 kings.
And you know, they authorized also Christopher Columbus to come over here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This was the fourth part of the earth, and he authorized them to come here. And when they started coming, they kept claiming lands for Spain as well as for the Pope.
This is one of the most powerful times to be alive in the history of mankind. This is one of the most powerful times to be. We watching history in the making. All of it is the same. The 10 toes represent the 10 kings. The 10 horns represent the 10 nations. And the toes and the feet is Rome, and that is the Catholic Church.
You know that for a fact.
For sure. And you just looking like, wow. You know, and that plays a part into America because it all runs together. They're going to give the okay when it comes time for us to come back. They got to be in charge. They got to come back. It says the fourth beast, which represents Rome, and the 10 horns, the beast correspond to the iron in the vision of Nebuchadnezzar's image. The 10 horns represent the breakup of the Western Empire, the origin of the Roman Empire into nations of Europe, over which Rome continues to hold sway. All of it. There it is. There's the statue. That's the history. That's chapter 2 of Daniel and chapter 7 and chapter 8. You can open up the
encyclopedia.
Say again?
Every cross you see on the churches, that is the Catholic Church stamp right there.
No, it doesn't matter what denomination you belong to. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. It's the real power behind this thing. The real power. Yes, indeed. Now, what I wanted to get into now, let me see what time it is because I don't want to do too much. I don't want to give you too much right now. I wanted to make sure that we have enough time. I think I might just stop right here and just, this will be enough to feed off of for now because I want to get into what I'm going to do next week is get into the destruction of how the first Babylon was destroyed and how there was no battle in the destruction. And then next week we're going to get into how the Babylonian kingdom, the America will be judged and destroyed eventually, how that's going to happen with Russia. And that's going to be and then we'll get into Mystery Babylon because we got to go through that too. But this is what it is. This is what it is. This is the person who's running it. These are the ones who will make the call. These are the ones that determine how it goes. And they got to get a new pope. They have to change the position of the pope because this is going to move us into a whole nother direction. And this is the one that's going to give the America the go ahead. It's time for them to move. Make it happen. They have to go. This is what it's going to be. That's why we're watching it so closely. Anytime you have a major change like that in the most powerful entity on the earth, change like that at this particular time, everybody is watching it. This is it. And they're going to play a major part. The Messiah made so it possible that this was going to be this way. Rome was in charge when he left. Rome was in charge when we became a nation. That we were still a nation and under the occupation of Rome. Very powerful stuff. So I think I'm going to leave it here. I hope that you guys have enjoyed the teaching. For those that are in the listening audience, I'm going to disconnect from the teaching. If you need to get in touch with us for any reason, our email address is Yehudah, and that's YEHUDAH project@gmail.com. TheYehudahProject@gmail.com. Please send us an email. We will be happy to respond. And we hope that you guys have enjoyed this lesson. And shalom, shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello.
No, don't hang up.